Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.
Hello, welcome to 15 Minutes of Genius. I'm your host, Alex Baer, CEO and founder of Genius Juice, the organic coconut smoothies. We've got a great guest on today. Her product, super unique. We never had anyone like this with this kind of product on the show. So really excited to introduce her. Before doing that, would like to give a big plug to Mark Nicholas, Mark N at ManhattanBeachStudios.net. He can do podcasts for you. He can do recordings for you. He can do video, audio, all that great stuff. He has a studio in Manhattan Beach, California, not Manhattan, New York, just to clarify that. Not yet, right, Mark? But he might be expanding to the East Coast at some point. So, make sure to reach out to him. So, our guest, without further ado, is Alisa Pospekhova. Had to practice a few times to get to pronounce her last name correctly. She's the founder and CEO of Kindroot Adaptogens with an M, Adaptogens. A little bit about her company. So they are adaptogenic herbs which meet aromatherapy in a delicious little lozenge. It was formulated by a master herbalist and blended by a Candy Hall of Fame scientist. Kindroot Adaptogens is the new breakthrough supplement disrupting the category. Alisa, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? So good to
Do,
be here.
Doing really good, really good. So, by the way, what city are you from?
So actually, I was living in Manhattan Beach for about 10 years. I just moved to Seal Beach a little bit down south, but I used to be right next door to where you are right now.
Right on. I don't know. That's the first time that I actually like asked that kind of question to someone, like in the
Yeah.
beginning, because it says Los Angeles there, but something told
Hmm.
me I'm like, she's like a South Bay person. And for those that are not from the South Bay, you'll never know what it means. But South Bay is south of LAX and
Hmm.
north of Long Beach, like that like chunk of land where there's Palos Verdes, Redondo Beach, Hermosa Beach, Manhattan Beach. Anyone from that area, we all know each other. There's an energy, there's a vibe, and it's impossible to explain. So I won't. So yeah, so really cool. So Seal Beach, awesome stuff. So we're both native Californians, or were you born in California or no?
No, so I actually, speaking of my last name, I'm actually Eastern European. So I was born in Latvia. I moved to the US when I was in high school. Moved around the US, went back to Europe, and then came to California in my early 20s. And I felt at home. It was like I landed, and that was the place I was going to be. So from that point on, pretty much moved around LA, but just kind of stayed here.
Awesome. You don't have an accent like hardly at all. So, or there's no accent. So it's really amazing. Like most people, when they're born in Russia or Latvia and they come here, there's an accent. When did your accent fade out, or does it come back, or I don't know.
It comes back. So if I'm tired, like if I'm tired or I've had a few drinks, it tends to come out.
The
And then
Russian
there's always a
accent
few
comes right
words that
in.
I like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like there's just some weird stuff. But the good thing is like because I grew up in Michigan, people around here just think it's like a Midwestern accent. And I'm like, no, it really isn't. That's not how people in Michigan talk. Like it's Russian. But yeah, I think day to day I kind of been able to assimilate, but it definitely tricks on me and comes out once in a while.
Right on. Yeah, big difference between a Michigan accent and a Russian accent. Huge difference.
Yeah, yeah,
Really cool.
yeah.
All right, well, let's get into your story and
Hmm.
and the product. I think I just like to kind of uncover what are some interesting topics that because we get a several thousand views per episode now on
Hmm.
LinkedIn. Nothing to do with me. It's all because of our guest. It's all because of Mark and the guests. I'm just here sitting here asking questions, so I have very little to do with this. I'm just surrounded by great people. But tell us more like this product. It's a
Hmm.
lozenge. It has adaptogens with the M. You can tell
Hmm.
us a story why it has the M in there, but it does have
Hmm.
adaptogens in it. Like, I just want to hear more about
Yeah.
this product. It's interesting. It's different. Never really seen anything like this. So tell us
Hmm.
more about it.
Yeah, I know, definitely. So, I mean, it really is a passion product of mine and something I created kind of for myself. So I have asthma, and so and had it since I was a kid. And so whenever I get sick, I just get these coughs that last forever. So I naturally just always consumed a lot of lozenges. And I think it was about 2 years ago, I was standing in line, like I was at Walgreens, I was about to buy another lozenge, and it was one of those, moments that kind of like hits you. I was like, I've been buying the same Ricola Vicks for the past 20 years. There's been no innovation in the category, like maybe something with honey, but the brands are not appealing to me. They have menthol in it that actually irritates your throat in the long run. And so I started thinking about this idea of actually creating a better lozenge, something that was like organic, that had better ingredients, and something that I felt like I would emotionally want to buy. And as I was doing that, I actually was also working with a naturopath kind of on immune system. And I was traveling with my herbs, and I put them in like a Ziploc bag, and TSA stopped me at LAX because they were like, what is this weird like powder in the Ziploc bag that you're kind of carrying? And so once I explained to them what it was, and they actually confiscated it, I was at the Delta terminal going up the escalator, and that's what I kind of connected. And I thought, it would actually be really cool to put some of those beneficial ingredients into a lozenge and start thinking of it as a delivery mechanism rather than just something that serves one purpose. And that is really how this whole journey to entrepreneurship really came together.
Interesting, interesting. And
Hmm.
getting stopped at LAX, that should be on the back of the package.
Yeah.
It's like my first time and like traveling with it, we got stopped at LAX, but don't worry, you won't, you know. We made sure
You
of that.
won't. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Interesting.
No,
And
it's true. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
so so distribution again,
Hmm.
we're on the West Coast. I'm sure you're starting to build
Yeah.
out distribution here.
Hmm.
Where like in a natural store, I guess this is in like the supplement aisle, like for Sprouts or Whole Foods, or like where typically does this go in a more natural supermarket?
It does. It goes into like the beauty and wellness section.
Right.
And then it just sort of depends on how it is merchandised. Generally, that section is divided by like function. So we have five different blends, right? Like we have one for immunity, one for sleep, one for mood, one for focus, and then we have a beauty one with collagen. And so if we're lucky, of course, they'll give us a nice, beautiful brand block with all the colors kind of together. And if not, if the store is truly kind of like divided out, then you'll find each one of our SKUs when you're looking for that particular function. We are also testing out actually being merchandised in the candy aisle as well, which interesting because I didn't actually think about that when I was developing a product. I really thought I was like, okay, it's a supplement. Like we have to be serious. It needs to go in the supplement aisle. And then we had one of the Air One stores actually put us in the candy section. And I saw like velocities increase. And so I'm now actually testing like where does the product, belong? And that's an interesting thing, right? As a business owner, like you go into these things with sort of preconceived notions of what you think the product is, but maybe the consumer will actually be responding to differently. So I think, in another 3 to 6 months, I think I'll be able to tell if we should be in both places or one of them, because again, I think to your point, like the product is very different and unique. And so I am constantly being asked, like, well, where should you put it? And I think I know, but I'm also interested in seeing what the consumers tell us.
Yeah, I mean it's really interesting because at the end of the day, consumers want to have something that tastes really good, that's enjoyable.
Hmm.
And when it's in
Hmm.
the candy aisle, it has that appearance, right? Just from being in that section, you got someone who's like, I want something that tastes really good, but also that's really
Hmm.
good for me. So like
Right.
when I go to Sprouts, I buy like the Hue bar, or I buy, I mentioned them
Hmm.
4 episodes in a row, like midday squares, So,
Yeah.
I buy products that are functional, but also that I know are going to taste really good.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
supplement is kind of one of those things where you just assume it's not going to taste amazing, but obviously there's going to be amazing benefits. So, just
Hmm.
my personal view, and entrepreneurs that are watching, right? We get several thousand views here. Is like
Hmm.
you want it to be positioned in a place that makes it look like delicious and attractive to
Hmm.
actually purchase. And there's also more traffic in those like aisles,
Yeah,
in my opinion, like the snack aisles.
there is.
People, all day we'll say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away, but they're literally eating chips, they're eating chocolate bars, they're eating what make, at home when no one's watching, they're having food that tastes really good, and they're
Hmm.
snacking, right? It's snackable. That's what people are going towards. So, cool. So distribution, where are you right
Hmm.
now?
So we are in some health and wellness stores in around the Lake area. So Air One is our we love obviously working with them. They were our first account. We're on Thrive Market, Amazon. We're on our own site, Lolly and Pops. We're in about 100 and actually 66 stores with them, and just other kind of natural chains throughout the country as well.
Cool. I think this is a really big D2C play. It's a light
Hmm.
product. It's shelf stable. Have you thought about again, like, digital marketing is becoming so important
Hmm.
to express
Hmm.
what is the benefits of this, making it fun, easy to understand.
Yeah.
Are you forming like a digital marketing strategy so people can better understand like what the product is, what it's about, what the benefits are? Tell us more about your strategy there.
No, definitely. So I think, from when I was developing a product, like I wanted to be cautious that I did develop it in a sense with a kind of an omni-channel standpoint, right? So like I went in all the stores and I measured the shelves and I made sure that the colors worked with like neon lights and all of the things that I think a lot of times when products are specifically developed for D2C, people don't think about. But to your point, I think D2C also makes so much sense because there's a lot more of a educational component to us. For one, I think, when you live in LA, like everybody knows what adaptogens are. If you kind of go outside of our bubble, we have to kind of explain to people like what are herbs, why do you want to take them, and then also why is it in a lozenge? And also it's not going to taste bad, and it's actually going to taste amazing. So there's all of these different points that you just kind of can't put in a package. So for us, I mean, digital marketing has been great. We do a lot with social media, and really focus on engaging content, founder stories. We're expanding our footprint from, really getting like behind Pinterest and these places where we really can be like visual, and where we can do a lot of things around like explanation and really kind of deep diving and providing people content. So I actually am not even thinking about as much of talking in terms of like product. We're now talking to people more about stress and what is your sleep routine and like really providing them tips and tricks for their daily life. And then, hey, if along the way you also want to try something that soothes you or melatonin to kind of help you fall asleep faster, that's great too. But I really want Kindroot to be like a stress management company beyond just the product, and that's how I really approach all of our digital communication.
Love it. I think what we should do is put on a sale on your website for those that tune in to this episode because you have the D2C
Let's do it.
strategy.
Hmm.
So, what percentage off would you like to give? Like you do 10%, 15%,
I mean, look, let's do 20%. I'm just gonna
20%?
be I'm just gonna be generous. And should we do Genius? We'll do Genius 20,
Yeah, let's do Genius. Well, yeah, Genius 20 could work,
or what
with
do
a
you want?
15.
Okay,
I
okay,
think yeah, let's do Genius 20 could work. We might refigure it, but I think Genius
okay,
20 is good because it's from
okay.
the show. I was trying to think of something
Hmm.
more on brand with yours, but I will, if you want to mention our brand, I'm not going to turn that down. So Genius 20, go on the website. This is going to air sometime in July, right? Or we're in July. It's going to be later July.
I
And
know. Yeah.
go on the website, Genius 20, 20% off. I'll have it in the comments. It'll be available maybe for like a 48-hour flash sale after this airs. So anyway,
Perfect.
details will be all in the comments. Make sure to go buy it. Good stuff. So yeah, so I guess we're running short on time. I
Hmm.
guess do you have any other things in the pipeline? Because adaptogens, again, a lot of people just, where are adaptogens going? Functionality. Are you going to
Hmm.
have any other deliverable format for this product, or is it going to stay as a lozenge? Do you want to go into powders? Do you want to do other elements, or what's your plan for future
Uh,
innovation?
no, really good. So we're actually about to launch some two packs. So like providing sort of a lower price point entry price
Right.
point for
Instead of a
people as
whole
well. So
bag
they can,
of lozenges. Yeah,
instead of a whole bag, and then it also allows us to go to like checkouts and sampling and things like that. So
exactly.
that's sort of the immediate. I mean, I think the pipeline for the company is always going to be probably more confectionery. And I always want to do a delivery that people sort of haven't done before. So powders are great, capsules are great, they're really potent, but in my opinion, they're kind of easy to make. You're just sort of blending them, and I think the barrier to entry is pretty low. And from the creativity standpoint, I think it's not quite as exciting for me. So the few things that I'm thinking of are kind of like really, how can we make it like super sensory, super different, and how can kind of it always be the brand that brings you interesting actives, but maybe in a format that you haven't thought of before.
Got it. Love that. And I'd love, you're definitely a visionary on, there's a psychology, the colors, what looks good under the right, the
Hmm.
bright like halogen lighting. You've definitely done your
Hmm.
research as an entrepreneur, and I think as you continue to scale this and show proof of concept and traction, I don't see you having that hard of a time in raising money. It's just now it's about getting sales, proving it out,
Right.
and then I think investors are going to start writing you checks. That's my intuition from meeting you and hearing about the story and the mission and the benefits of the products. I think you have a golden road ahead of you. So keep at it, keep pushing hard, and let's launch this U.S. and then go to Russia and make in Latvia. Those two markets, right? So, all right, well, let's get into our next segment, which is called Rapid Fire Questions. Rapid Fire Questions. All right. So what's really funny is that whenever we do back-to-back tapings, usually when the next guest hops on, they see the last part of the previous episode. So a lot of times people know the questions already. So do your best to pretend like you haven't heard these ever before. So, all right, all right,
Okay.
here we go. So, first question, NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Can I actually say boys to men?
Boys to Men. There you go. First time someone answered something outside of NSYNC or Backstreet Boys. And their song "One Sweet Day," Mariah Carey, incredible. End of the
Oh,
road. End
so
of the
good.
road.
So good. End of the road. You can, yeah, I mean, it's hard to beat. It's hard to beat.
They're quintessentially the '90s, like that band.
Hmm.
Yeah. There's three guys, right?
I think
Two,
there's four.
four. There's
There's
four.
four, and now I think there's three. And but I'm a super like I love retro nostalgia. I mean, Kindroot's packaging is very like retro inspired. So
Yeah,
anything from 70s to 90s is like 100% my jam.
absolutely. Yeah, I think you nailed that on the packaging for sure. You get that feeling. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times.
Um, Clueless.
Clueless, Alicia Silverstone. Yep. Is that the one where it's like, is that the Matthew McConaughey? Like, all right, all right, all right. Or is that, no, that's another one, isn't it? Yeah.
No, it's another one. It's a, like when she's like the Beverly Hills, and I first saw that movie when I was still living in like, former like USSR. And
Mm-hmm.
so to me, like that's what I thought US was like. You know what I mean? I thought like everybody went to like Beverly Hills High and drove convertibles and like Jeeps, and then I moved to Michigan like, wait, there's like no palm trees here. How was it was definitely a letdown. But it's again like it just feels so like that time to me.
Yeah, it's that era, but
Hmm.
that really we got to tell these movies are damaging what U.S. actually is. That's my friend from Tennessee actually, who when he first moved here, he went to the Venice Boardwalk. For those that have
Hmm.
not been to the Venice, California boardwalk, you got people smoking up, you got homeless people, you have people dancing, you have the Venice bodybuilders. He's on the boardwalk, all these different personalities. And my friend's like, "Is this what LA is like everywhere?" Like just like it's like a weird first impression. So
Hmm.
that's Clueless. So
Right.
so it's like Legally Blonde. It's kind of a similar thing. So first thing you do when you wake up.
I check my phone. It's the worst. It's the worst habit, but I just I can't help it. I'm addicted. I know it, and I don't know how to not do it.
There's really no way to undo it. It's
Yeah.
unfortunately ingrained. I do it too. So, song, let's see, favorite sport to watch?
Uh, Pickleball. I
Got it.
just got into it and I'm obsessed. So
S-
it's, yeah.
Song you can listen to, I skipped this one. Song you can listen to an unlimited amount of times.
Um, I Will Always Love You.
Whitney Houston, another from that era, right? From the era, 80s, 90s. Zoom, I Want to Dance with Somebody. That's my favorite Whitney
That's a
Houston
great
song.
one.
Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or Google Meet?
Zoom all the way.
What is your spirit animal?
Probably a unicorn because they're colorful and I love color.
There you go. And that's what your brand can be, a unicorn, right? Window seat or an aisle seat on an airplane?
Aisle,
Peanut butter or almond butter, or neither?
almond butter.
Omnivore, flexitarian, vegetarian, or vegan?
Right now, an omnivore.
Omnivore. Cool. Cold weather or hot weather?
Hot weather for sure. I mean, that's why we're in California, right?
Exactly. Yeah, the Siberia is total opposite. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So, LeBron James or MJ?
I'm actually not a basketball fan, but I would probably say LeBron James.
Awesome. Ginger or turmeric?
Ginger.
And favorite food or drink if you're stuck on a deserted island, you cannot say genius juice and you cannot say, I mean, I guess Kindroot is it's kind of a drink. It's a kind of a food, but you
Kind of a
cannot say either.
food.
Can't say either of those. So, what would be your favorite food or drink on a desert island?
I would actually go really simple. I would do like a warm baguette with just some salted butter on it, with all the gluten and like all the stuff that, like you're trying not to have, but that would be my guilty pleasure.
Hey, there's no one around to judge you on a desert island. So, whatever you want, all
Fair
good.
enough.
Yep.
Fair enough.
So, yep. So that is rapid fire questions with Alisa. Kindroot Adaptogens. Make sure to check them out. Buy it online. Genius 20% off, 48-hour flash sale from when this actually airs, sometime in July. The date will be the date that you're watching this, is when it launches. So yeah, so thank you for joining us. Good to meet another fellow person in LA, and congrats on your success so far, Lisa. Can't wait to see what you'll do with the brand and how much it will grow. I know it's going to be a good one. So keep at it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You got it. All right. So that is episode 79, right? I'm losing count, which is a good sign. We have a lot of episodes. 79, and that's with Alisa Pospekhova, and she's with Kindroot Adaptogens. Make sure to tune in on Apple Podcast, also on Spotify. You can also see us on LinkedIn. We post the episodes every Tuesday and Friday. All good stuff. So, yeah, another big plug, Mark Nicholas, Mark N. at ManhattanBeachStudios.net for all your editing desires. He is awesome. You can have your own podcast, video, audio. Has a full studio here. We got to set up a camera, Mark, so people can see just the Herculean effort that you have done to put this studio together. It's like not seeing the Sistine Chapel. You know, you got to see it. You got to see this. So anyway, that's episode 79 in the books. And one last thing, stay genius, my friends.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.